Hello friends, welcome back to Francesca's Books. My name is Francesca, these are my books, and here we talk about all things thriller books. And today we're diving into full steam spooky season. It's October, so of course there is a spooky season reading vlog. I'm going to read some of my most highly anticipated autumn fall reads, spooky season reads, anything that's got a little edge to it. As you can see here by my lovely ghost friend in the corner, we are in like full spooky mode, so I am so excited to film this vlog. In terms of what I'm going to read, honestly my entire October TBR could fall anywhere in this vlog because the majority of it is spooky season themed. So I have 6 books to choose from, and I'm going to try and read a mix of like really creepy thrillers, some paranormal thrillers, and I have a feeling I'm going to get to A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches because this just screams spooky season reading vlog, and if I don't read it now, I'm sure I will. But the first book I am going to start reading is The Invited by Jennifer McMahon, I think is how you pronounce her name. This one has been very highly recommended to me, so I am very hopeful. In this, we're following a married couple who don't only buy a haunted house, they are building one from the ground up because the land that they've bought to build their new home is indeed haunted. And by the sounds of it, our female main character just goes absolutely delulu trying to find out what happened on this land when she realises what they've done. It's giving ultimate Halloween vibes, honestly. It's giving a little bit of a backstory, everything that you could want in a thriller book. I have already read the first 50 or so pages of this one, so I do know that there are 2 points of view. We have the couple who are moving to this land, and we also have a little girl called Olive and her point of view as well. And her mum is missing, so I have a feeling these narratives are going to converge. They are in the same timeline, and then there was also a really spooky prologue from 100 years ago, so I'm very excited to see the direction this one goes. So I'm going to keep reading. I didn't realise I actually had the Kindle and the physical copy of this book, so it better be good. I think I'm going to read the physical copy and then switch to the Kindle version when I'm wanting to go to bed. So page 51, first thought, there's an additional point of view that I wasn't aware of, and also feels like there's going to be quite a few characters to keep track of, so I think it's going to be a bit of a slow burn to know what's going on, hopefully with a very nice payoff. I'm like 110 pages into this, okay? Chapter 11. Stuff is starting to happen, but it's definitely not a fast-paced from the beginning style book. Not that I'm saying I won't enjoy it, because I think the setup has been really good, but I feel like dragging my heels, like, you know, not reaching for a book, but also I feel like that could be my own personal headspace. It's so annoying when this happens and you don't know whether it's just because your attention span is just like lacking over a few days, or it's whether you don't want to pick up the book. But having said that, the last book that I read, I pretty much read it in one go, even though I was in a similar headspace. So we've had more setup from both points of view, and a very interesting prologue point of view as well, and I actually have some time today to sit and give this a really good read, so hopefully I can get into it a little bit more and give you some updates. Can I just say, this would literally be me if I saw a ghost. There'd be no, oh, I wonder what we should do. I'd just be like, pure panic. Hey friends, it is the next day, and I have read a little bit more. I'm now at the page, unsure, 174, and this book has so much potential. I'm just not reading it in big enough chunks. So what I'm going to do is, I have 2 bookcases in my living room which I haven't actually filled with books yet, so I'm going to listen to the rest of this, now I'm over halfway through, whilst I'm going to rearrange these shelves. So I thought that would be really fun to show you guys as well. I'm a bit nervous because I'm going to move some of my books from my studio upstairs downstairs into my living room, so if this goes wrong, you probably won't see the footage anyway. It'll just be me taking everything back upstairs. But in terms of the book, before we get started, both our points of view have been very interesting. So we've got Olive, who is much younger and is looking for this treasure that her mum promised her, and Helen, who's just moved into the new house. The timelines have converged, but at the same time, I'm not really sure the significance of it. I feel like there's going to be something in that, because so far there hasn't been. It's just been a coincidental bumping into each other situation. But I will say, for my thriller girlies who do not enjoy the supernatural paranormal side of thrillers, this one is definitely not for you. It is definitely a horror book. For me personally, I absolutely love this side of thrillers. I don't read them too much, only really in October, to like fully harness that side of reading. So this is what we're working with right now. I've literally done absolutely nothing to it. These are books that have just kind of like accumulated over the last few days. I've not taken upstairs yet. There's a little bit of non-fiction here actually, which I brought down to give it something, but we're nowhere near done. I'm kind of scared. The Invited. Before I tell you my thoughts on this, this was the final result of changing my upstairs bookshelves. I can't believe all these books used to just fit on 2 bookcases. So we're in a good place now. It also looks so much better downstairs, like so much more homely, but it does mean I'll be choosing my TBR downstairs, which is kind of strange, but we digress. In terms of a star rating, I don't really know where to land with this. The concept, fantastic. The thriller element didn't really exist, and then the horror element was more like creepy, like maybe a bit of tension as opposed to like actual horror. Also, some of the things in it were a bit unrealistic. So our married couple, main characters, were building this house on this haunted land, as I mentioned, literally by themselves, like with no outside help whatsoever, as in from the foundations. I was kind of like, I just don't think that would happen, but that was just me being picky, honestly, and it did add to the plot as to why it was them specifically building it. So I just don't think I had the best reading experience with this, although the concept was good. And I was trying to nail down exactly why to tell you guys, and I don't really know. I think I just didn't click with this author's writing style. I think that's all it was. But I do recommend it still, because I feel like if you like a slower burn and this type of like horror thriller, I guess, you would really like this. The cover is gorgeous. This author has some other books as well that have also been rated really highly. I will say the ending was quite satisfying. I did like how the story concluded, but it did feel an obvious direction of the narrative as opposed to a plot twist, if that makes sense. I think I'm gonna land on a 3.5. It feels harsh because I did enjoy it, but also the amount of times I just wasn't reaching for it, I don't think I can rate it any higher than that. And I'm actually unsure what I'm gonna read next, so I'm gonna think on it and then come back. Hello friends, it is the next day and I've chosen my next read. I am very, very excited to pick this one up actually. I'd completely forgotten that I had it when I was thinking about my next pick. So I'm gonna read Play Nights by Rachel Harrison. I've only read The Return by this author so far, and I don't think that's one of her most popular books either. This one, the concept sounds immaculate. Okay, so firstly we're following an influencer, so I feel like this may hit quite close to home. And her mum is unalived or passed away, and her and her sisters inherit a house which is supposedly haunted. Now, I know what you're thinking. You're thinking this sounds very similar to Home Before Dark by Riley Sager, and I agree. So I'm very excited to see what the differences are. So our main character, Cleo, goes back to where her mum lived to see the house, to see her family, do all the funeral arrangements, potentially triggering, I don't know. And then she decides to read the book that her mum wrote about the supposed paranormal goings on in the house and why they left. This feels like it's going to be a more spookier version of Home Before Dark. I think that was definitely a thriller. By Rachel Harrison's other books, I am going to guess this is going to be more horror, but we will see. If you can name a better Friday night than this, go for it. I've got my thriller horror book, which I'm very, very much enjoying. I'm going to read this and run a bath. And I've also got some new hot chocolate to try. Miles Tea and Coffee sent me this because I won't stop yapping about tea and coffee. And then of course we've got the Ghost Mug to top it all off. I'm so obsessed with this book. I'm struggling to put it into words. For the first time ever, I'm reading this book way more slowly than I have to because I'm just enjoying the writing so much. Something significantly bad would have to happen for this not to be a 5-star read. I'm obsessed with the characters, I'm obsessed with the story and the storytelling, the way it's switching points of view from the mainly told in the present and then some snippets of the book that she's currently reading as well. I love it. I'm in love. So I've just finished Play Nice and I am shook. This is one of the best horror thriller books I've read ever. I think I enjoyed it so much because it was also one of the most human horror thriller books I've read. These characters were absolutely incredible. If you love a character-driven book, this one's going to be for you. And although I'm normally more focused on the plot, I feel like a good plot twist and a good story gets me more than the characters. Rachel Harrison has crossed these over perfectly. Maybe I'll give you some more thoughts later once I've digested, but I think 6-star read. So thoughts collected. I, as you saw, took as much time as possible to read this book because the writing was just that incredible. Of course, I knew I was going to love this from the beginning and it really did deliver. I can't even really still put into words how much I would definitely recommend this. I also didn't mention there was subtext / conversations around trauma bonding as well, which I think was really interesting to read. This author does tend to add almost like psychological layers into her horror thrillers as well. And aside from that, there was quite a diverse character pool, with our main character being an influencer and then having her family as well. There was a lot of different types of character in this. And of course she did the horror tension perfectly. So honestly, I'm not sure what's going to be able to top it, but I have an idea. If there's any time to read A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, it is in a spooky season reading vlog. So I am going to pick this up and give it a go. It isn't strictly a thriller, but it is very much like spooky vibes. So we have our main character who is a witch, and she somehow gets enlisted to go and teach these young witches in a school. And of course at the start of every book she's like, I don't know about this, I don't know about this. And then I've heard it's very much like a found family story. But I don't actually know much more than that. I haven't even really read the synopsis, but even when I've skimmed over it, it feels like magical realism / cozy horror in a way that it probably wouldn't even help to read the synopsis anyway. I also saw that the dedication was to Steve, which is my late dad, if you didn't know. Obviously this author has not dedicated this book to my late dad, but it feels, I don't know, it feels like a sign to pick it up. So I'm gonna dive straight into this and continue the spooky vibes. We're a few days out from Halloween. It's gonna be vibes. I'm a good 100 pages in, and this is giving everything I could possibly have wanted for something lighter to read around spooky season. I see why this book gets so much love now, and I'm only 100 pages in. So we've got Mika, our main character, and she is a witch but likes to keep it extremely low-key. So when she goes to help these other witches try and like harness their power, these like child witches, it's like a learning journey for herself and for them as well. And they have definitely, I knew that they would have like found family vibes. There's also other people there looking after them, and there's a romantic subplot, of course there is. I absolutely love the magical realism side of this book as well, because since they're witches, you can lean into almost like the horror tropes without it being scary. So of course she just like pulls a pond out of her car, like of course she does. As well as her teaching, there's also like an overarching story and a problem that our characters are trying to solve. So I just feel like this is a really nice light read so far. So far, big thumbs up from Francesca. So this afternoon as well, I'm actually heading down to London to go to a spooky storytelling reading that's hosted by Jack Edwards. I'm sure you guys have heard of him. He's also one of my fellow TikTok Creator of the Year nominees. So it'll be nice to catch up with him, but they are hosting just like a night of like spooky storytellings. So shortly I'm gonna head down to London, take this for the train because I'm absolutely obsessed with it so far, and I'll take you along to that as well.
A good month. In August, school hasn't begun yet.
It was many and many a year ago, in a kingdom by the sea, that a maiden there lived with whom you may know by the name of Annabel Lee.
And appeared rather like one doomed by slavery to toil in the mines or any other unwholesome trade that an artist occupied by his favourite employment.
And excitement, etc. So we're pumped that you're also joining us today.
Hello friends, the day has arrived. It is Halloween, aka the best day of the year. As you can see by my wonderfully spooky outfit today, I also have matching socks. Not gonna show you, but just believe me. And I'm just about to head out to my brother and his girlfriends for a spooky evening of films, ghost pizzas, all the vibes. If you can't tell, kind of into it. And I also have about a quarter of A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches left, which is going to be the perfect book to finish later to round off the best spooky season reading vlog I've done in a very long time. I am obsessed with this. It's the most wholesome, feel-good, spooky but not spooky book that I've read. The vibes are just immaculate in this. It's very found family. Our main character Mika has really like sacrificed her own basically health at this point for this new family that she's almost been brought into. For the girls that she's teaching, she has developed this incredible relationship. And if you like a feel-good book that has a little bit of spook because she is a witch at the end of the day, this is going to be a really good read for you. I've also really enjoyed some of our main characters are actually really funny. There's a lot of dry humour in this as well. So it's been a really good pick for Halloween Day itself. Hello friends! We have finished our spooky season reading vlog. I had so much fun. I just feel like this time of year makes life worth living. So I ended up rating The Invited a 3.5 initially, but I think this is more like a 3-star. I just don't really remember anything that happened even only 2 books later, and also I just remember not reaching for it at all. I don't think a 3.5 is a fair rating because 3.5 would be like a good solid thriller, and I'm not saying it wasn't that, but I think to my personal taste it was more like a 3. Then I read Plain Eyes by Rachel Harrison, which I absolutely adored. This was a 6-star read. This was a wonderfully human haunted house story. Love the characters, love the plot twists. Can't really talk more highly of it than that. And then I of course just finished A Very Secret Society of Irregular Witches, and I just think this is the perfect read for a thriller horror girly who just wants something a little bit different to read that isn't strictly romance as well. I don't think there is any way I can rate this less than a 5-star because I don't really have lots of bars of comparison in terms of this genre, but I absolutely loved it. It was so cute, it was so fun family, it was, the witchy vibes were perfect for this time of year, and I just all around had a great time. I was reaching for it. I think the conclusion was fantastic. There was actually some mini plot twist scattered in as well. So it's hard to rate this 5-star in comparison to my other thriller ratings, but also it was a 5-star in its own genre. And now we basically move on to Christmas. Halloween season is over, which is very sad. Very sad indeed. I will miss you. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe, and I cannot wait to see you next time.